Maddie, you ready? Are you ready?
In the summer of 2024, we bike-packed, or more accurately, dog-packed, southbound along the Great Divide mountain bike route, going border to border, from the border of Canada to the border of Mexico. What could happen in 2,700 miles and nearly 200,000 feet of elevation gain, pedaling on 2 tires from Canada to Mexico along the Continental Divide, while toting Rowdy Dog along? Hop on board, pedal along, and adventure with Affinity Forest as the journey unfolds to find out just what happened.
If we hold on tight, we'll keep going till we reach new heights, going further than we ever thought we could. We're on to something good. We won't let go.
5 days to go to the start of that trail. There she is. Dun, dun, dun. Are you ready? Aaron's ready. Let's do this.
I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, I got lost along the way, fell between the foam, pulling stitches. Time to let go, so come what may. Don't look before you leave. What you give, you get to keep. So long, farewell, bye-bye. Let's have a toast for those lost old lives.
Just like that, we're off. It was our first mile. Yoo! Wonder what our last mile will be like. And I wonder what's gonna happen in between those miles. I don't know, but let's go find out. We are 6.21 miles in. It is 75 degrees. 12:25 p.m. We've been going for 30 38 minutes. And already the views look like this. For reference, today is Wednesday, the 12th. So this isn't even really the start of the ride. But we're weird and doing it differently because that's how we live life, differently.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the adventure so far. I figured I'd pop in real quick just to set the scene a little bit more on the GDMBR and the route that we specifically took. There are many ways to ride the GDMBR. Southbound, northbound, at the Grand Depart, later in the season, racing or touring. Some ride it at what is referred to as tour pace, what we did for our trip, and some ride it at race pace by entering what is referred to as the Tour Divide, which closely follows but has a slightly different route from the GDMBR. A route, I might add, that changes slightly each year and is emailed to races a mere week prior to the start date. Now that's some adventurous racing. For our ride, we followed the Great Divide route primarily, but opted to take many of the Tour Divide route options along the way. For those entering the Tour Divide, as well as for those tour pace riders who want to be more part of the scene, there is a Grand Depart date every year, usually around the second Friday of June. For 2024, that date was June 14th. Those racing may also choose to race the Divide by completing the route on their own, by choosing an alternate date, entering what is called an independent time trial. And all of this racing is in an attempt to achieve the elusive FKT, or the fastest known time on the trail. And this year was a big year, with a record being made by a rider who finally beat the long-standing previous record held by the late legend Mike Hall, who for the past 8 years has held the FKT of completing the race in 13 days, 22 hours, and 51 minutes. Enter Justinas, a hard-working nurse who is no stranger to sleep deprivation, and who used those life skills in combination with his ridiculous riding abilities to wrap up the 2,700-mile rugged race in 13 days, 2 hours, and 16 minutes. And Justinas can enjoy, as he has said in many interviews, records are made to be broken. I only know one thing for sure. I'll hold the record for 1 year. Well done. There are no prizes, no trophies, no crowds cheering you on at the finish, just a sense of personal accomplishment. No services. The official route for the GDMBR, completed in 1997, starts in Jasper, Alberta, Canada, and covers 3,083 miles. Very challenging mountains. Following and crossing the Continental Divide numerous times, riders stay high in elevation and pedal up and over numerous passes from Canada into Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, finally New Mexico, before reaching the very unceremonious and anticlimactic and in the middle of nowhere final destination of Antelope Wells, New Mexico, at the border of Mexico. The ride promises challenges all along the way. So in addition to being able to handle the endurance of pedaling 3,000 miles, 90% of which is on unpaved gravel roads, a rider must be prepared for the 200,000 feet of elevation gain from the beginning to the end. This amount of vertical gain is equivalent to summiting Mount Everest from sea level 7 times. In addition, a rider must be prepared to handle unreliable food and water sources at times along the route, with some sources being over 100 miles apart. Wildlife encounters are not uncommon, and a rider must be prepared for grizzly bears on the northern part of the trail, as well as black bears, moose, and occasionally cougars. Oh, and a swarm of biting flies and mosquitoes will follow riders somewhere in the middle there, and scorpions and snakes await those that make it south into New Mexico. And you can guarantee that Mother Nature will be out there doling out her best, from high winds to extreme heat and cold, deep snow in the mountains to monsoon rains in New Mexico that turn an innocent dirt road into an absolute pit of super adhesive and sticky goo, commonly referred to as peanut butter mud, that stops riders dead in their tracks, with the only hope of moving forward is to wait for the goo to dry or to carry your fully loaded bike for miles. For those riders that do make it to the desolate finish in the middle of nowhere, they turn around their bikes and pedal to the nearest town to make arrangements to go home. I know, sounds amazing, right? I have been so into this for many years now, and this was finally our year. However, in planning for our trip, we knew we were not going to make it to the Grand Depart in Jasper, Alberta, Canada on June 14th. Traveling with a dog has its benefits, but does provide its own set of complications. And logistically, for us, it would be easier to skip crossing into Canada and instead rent a one-way U-Haul and drive it to the closest U-Haul drop location. From there, we'd pedal our bikes straight off the back of the truck, connect to the GDMBR, and pedal northbound to touch the Canadian border before turning around and pedaling southbound to begin our trip in earnest, with the goal of hopefully reaching the border of Mexico. And to feel more a part of the spirit of the ride, we timed our touching of the Canadian border with the Grand Depart date of June 14th. And not to mention, with a generous head start on all of those Grand Depart riders, we were very much looking forward to being passed by those elite riders in the days to come, as well as the others in the weeks to come. So, technically speaking, this was our day one of our ride. Okay, back to the adventure. Day 2. Thursday. Pedaling out of the campground at the lake into Whitefish for a pastry and a coffee. Here it is, our first grizzly bear warning sign. We are out here doing this. I've got my bear spray.
I am bear aware. I will not sleep with any smells in the tent. Yoo-hoo! It is 10:17 a.m. We've gone for 1,161 feet of elevation, pedaling for 2 hours and 18 minutes, about 15 miles. That's the update. I'm climbing a hill. Gotta go. Bye. This is what we trained for. You.
Set up and ready to roll.
Good morning from day 3 on trail and day 1 of the actual GDMBR. The tour divide starts today in Banff, Canada. Here we are, somewhere in Montana, on the trail, waking up, and I don't know if you can see that, but that is some ominous clouds in the background. There's some sprinkles on the tent, and some wind is blowing. We're high up in elevation, and we're going down. So we're gonna make our own grand depart with a mad pack up before this turns into potential snow. Because as you can see, there is still snow here. The adventure begins. Let's go! Did you eat your dinner? All right, let's go. Let's go. We're off, just like that. It's 7:29 a.m. It is 45 degrees. And we're leaving Red Meadow Campground. Headed northbound on the GDMBR. Day 1. Tour divide. Yoo! It's 9:16 a.m. We have gone for 16.88 miles for about an hour and 30 minutes. It's 56 degrees, and we just stopped back there to pump some water, which was a huge boost of help, I should say, because boy, these new platypus water filters we got last night at camp that we did not test out before riding. Took us like 2 hours to pump one thing of water. So, yay! And yeah, so far it's going good. The sun just popped out after that rainy start, and just thinking of all those riders that are heading southbound, and we're heading northbound. And yeah, today is going a lot better than how yesterday ended with that climbing yesterday. Woo! Miles are not miles out here. They're all different. Check out these horses. Good morning, beautifuls. Oh yes. Good morning. Feeling good though on day 3 of pedaling. Thanks to all that descent this morning. This is just day 3 of pedaling, day 1 of the tour divide. And this is where the real training begins. All those training videos we've been doing, well, and all that training we've been doing, and the videos we've made, while that's sort of training, to me, these next 2 weeks, this is the real training. So trying to take it easy, really focusing on hydration, and electrolytes, and eating throughout the day. Granola bars, granola bars, granola bars. All right, back on trail. Yoo!
We're here in Canada. We made it.
Made it! I'm on the United States side. Hey, don't be eating things.
Boop.
Boop! Do you want to boop it? Come on, butter. Boop! You're heavy. Boop! Good boy. Alright. Pretty cool.
We want to know what the border looked like in the middle of nowhere. There's just a line cut in the woods.
All the way up there. Border. Yoo! I called you right away, Aaron. I was like, Aaron.
I just saw the missed call.
Aaron, there's a bear there.
He's taking movies here.
Be bear aware.
I'm aware he's there.
Oh my God.